yesterday was Santa's one day of work, and he was in his bag handing out crossovers, a couple dimes, a few slick jumpers to anyone who tried to challenge him.
Oh,
this was making the rounds.
Oh, the professor tweeted this out.
Oh.
Famous for the And One mixtape tour. That's fun.
Watch it. Watch a couple of these moves.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is one of the best ball handlers, street ball legend, the professor, wearing his Santa outfit. I like that.
Oh, yeah. Two things I believe in. I believe in street ball and definitely believe in Santa.
Oh, no, go get it.
Look at that.
Go get
And
it.
just like at my house, Santa's a black guy.
The professor's white guy.
No, I'm talking about the guy handling the ball. I know the professor is. That's the...
Right, but the guy handling the ball is white guy.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Okay, Professor. Yeah, he got some. And, we on the same side of the tree. I understand.
You never saw it. You just assumed.
I thought he was the one sending out the message about Santa.
I got it.
No, I didn't think the professor was Santa.
No, I know. I'm saying you assumed the guy in the suit was a black guy. There's a little implicit bias.
Well, just based on his athleticism.
Right, that's what I said.
Yeah, I didn't think he came from your side of the family.
Exactly
No.
right.
No, I didn't think he was a family reunion. That's my cousin. No, I didn't.
Merry Christmas. Time for some stories to start your morning, brought to you by the unexpected energy of ExxonMobil. Kyrie had an incredible performance.
Just like that guy.
On Christmas Day, 40 points in the Celtics' 121-114 win over the Sixers. CC, how impressive was Kyrie Irving yesterday?
He was impressive. Now, because very seldom have you ever seen, since he's been with Brad Stevens, they cut him loose. So to be able to see him cut loose, and he had that aggressiveness from the beginning of the game, took over in the first quarter, continued that to overtime. They don't have anyone in Philadelphia. When they face the Celtics, not only Kyrie, but closing out these games, they don't have an answer for what the Celtics have done to them in recent history.
Those two threes in overtime were great, and they won them the game. But they're not in that position if he doesn't do what he did at the end of regulation, with Jimmy Butler playing as good of a defense as you can play on a guy, and Kyrie just got an inch of space, hit that fadeaway in the lane, high arcing. It was great. He was spectacular yesterday, and really, he's been, outside of the first 2 weeks of the season, he's been excellent from that moment forward.
All right, moving on to the Bucks taking on the Knicks. Milwaukee won 109-95. Giannis had 30 points, 14 rebounds. CC, you were front and center at this game. What'd you think of Giannis? What stood out to you?
The number one thing that stood out, and I got there early, was able to see the warm-ups and everything. I like to see players like him who are trying to develop a shot. What kind of shots are they shooting before the game? Very impressed by that. You can see his range getting there. His body, he's probably put on at least 20, 25 pounds of muscle. He's probably close to like 245 now. So when you look at him, he's very, very impressive how he handles himself on the court as a leader. You can just see him just evolving to be one of the greatest players that we've ever seen. It was a treat to be able to watch him on Christmas Day.
He is one of the only guys in the league right now that every single year has gotten better significantly and added something new to his game every single year, while adding the weight progressively from when he was drafted. It's looked like, how could this guy ever play so skinny and gangly, to now being one of the more physically imposing guys in the league. Chris and I both believe, maybe on slightly different timelines, that at some point, Giannis is going to be the best player in the world.
All right, Lakers beat the Warriors last night. LeBron James left the game in the third quarter with a strained groin. He is scheduled to have an MRI later today, but it is believed the injury is not serious. Nick, how big of a deal is this?
It's a less big deal now that we know at least what they, at the moment, believe about the injury, that it's so minor he could theoretically play Thursday. But it is significant in this regard. I know they played excellent without him yesterday. Yeah. But if he misses a week, it's very easy to go 0-3 in a week in the West, and you're climbing out of that hole for the next few weeks after. So that's another reason that this could really matter.
It was significant. How significant? Number one, he couldn't come back into the game. And on Christmas Day, with the type of first half that he had, with the lead that they have, if LeBron James could have come back, he would have been out there on the court. Number two, they're getting an MRI. The reason why, they heard the pop. There's probably a significant strain there, and he might have did the growing release off of the bone, because that was the popping sound. So I need to see the MRI. Any injury LeBron has to the end of his career, I believe is significant.
All right, finally, two of the Warriors' big four struggled yesterday and have struggled all season. Klay is shooting a career low from three, while Draymond is hitting just 22% of his three-pointers. Draymond addressed his struggles after the game.
We just gotta be better. I gotta be better. I kind of f***ed our whole offense up, and it kind of messed the flow of the game up. So I just gotta be better.
Okay, well, at least he dressed up for the soundbite. So what do you think, Nick, of how Klay and Draymond have struggled so far this season?
All right, so Klay it's odd because he's averaging a career-high shots while averaging a career-low by a mile three-point percentage.
And what does that mean?
So it means for some reason he's just not hitting his threes. Every year of his career he's been at least 40%, even his rookie season. Last year he was 44%. This year he's below 34%. But that also, I think, even though we're 30-some games into the year, I don't expect that to continue. I know what a great shooter Klay Thompson is. The Draymond stuff, though, should be 5-alarm concerning for the Warriors, because when they were 73-9 without Kevin Durant, that year he was 14, 10, and 7 on 39% from three. 39%. It's one of the reasons they were unguardable. Their worst shooter was still shooting nearly 40% from three. The last 2 years with KD, that 14, 10, and 7 dropped to 11, 8, and 7 on 31% from three. And this year, it's 7, 8, and 7 on 22% from three. And see, they are guarding him like he's Boban Marjanovic out there. Like, we'll give you 15 feet of room. The giant big man who's played with the Spurs and is playing well this year. Regardless, they are giving him 15 feet of room and saying, do whatever you want offensively. We don't care because you don't scare us. And he's right. It is clogging their offense. The Lakers' entire defensive game plan yesterday was revolving around, we don't have to guard one of your guys.
Yes, and it messes up the offense because now they're trying to run 4 guys with their motion. They're trying to set picks, and the passing lanes and the lane is clogged up because that person is giving Draymond 8 to 10 feet to be able to shoot. And there's only 2 things in the NBA that are really humiliating. Number 1, hack-a-shack. When they start hacking you and you shooting free throws and the coach got to remove you from the game because your inability to be effective at shooting from 15 feet, the basket's not moving, nobody's doing nothing, and you can't be effective enough to keep you on the court. The next thing is when they back off of your jump shot and they dare you to shoot it. And last night, Tyson Chandler, he backs off into the lane on Draymond on a three-pointer, and he shoots an air ball. You could see it in Draymond's press conference. Not only did they lose the game, but his confidence is shot. It's affected his numbers. It's affected their offense. And the reason why Klay, you bringing up Klay, is important, because if it was just Klay struggling, they would be able to recover. But now, with Draymond struggling the way he is and the amount of minutes that he's going to play because he's a key cog to what they're doing, now Klay's shooting becomes a problem because Klay is shooting, he's not shooting less shots, he's shooting more of them. So to me, Klay's shooting some bad shots. It's not necessary for him to be able to shoot those shots. Why would he be at an all-time high as far as shots and shooting at an all-time low? It doesn't make sense. His shot selection, if he would change that, I believe that will come back. Draymond is a serious concern. And also, Draymond wants a new contract. So they got real issues in Golden State going forward.
Just quickly before we move on, this isn't a week or 2 weeks. This has been the brunt of the season for these two guys, except so for that one game.
Klay had the one game, and if you take that one game out, then his numbers are even worse. But go ahead.
Right. So I just wonder at one point, and we're past the quarter point of this season. At what point do you start to say, okay, how far can the Warriors go with just Steph and KD? Because that's going to really be.
Well, for number one, you can't put Klay in that category because he's one of the greatest shooters ever.
So you think
oh, yeah. I'm going to repeat this. He's one of the greatest shooters ever.
Okay.
He's definitely going to get his shot back. Draymond and how they run a lot of the offense through Draymond. So not only is his shot not being a problem, but Draymond is not running and passing. Draymond's probably their best overall passer of the basketball and helps that offense run efficient.
But it's also why, one of the reasons, well, what are the Warriors going to do? Oh, they could just play Draymond less minutes and play Boogie Cousins more when he gets out there. Maybe the best offensive big in the Western Conference outside of Anthony Davis. So, like, they're going to be fine because Boogie at some point is coming back, even if it's later than they had hoped. So, but Draymond, I don't know that he's going to be fine. He's been shooting 25% from three for now 3 years, if we want to go back since the 73-win season. It's been a problem for years now for Draymond. It's now just getting to its lowest point.
I'm on an island, but I'm starting going to worry. All right, let's get to the Patriots
You'll
now.
always be worrying early.
Yep, I just want to get on all the islands. They have a chance to clinch a top 2 seed for the 9th straight season. Add that to winning their division for the 10th straight season, and it would seem you're destined for Atlanta. But there is still concern about 41-year-old Tom Brady, who some have speculated could be dealing with an MCL injury. Tom Brady did not deny any injury issues on Monday morning, but said he wouldn't get into specifics. Chris Carter, can the Patriots make a Super Bowl run with a compromised Tom Brady?
No. No, they're not explosive enough. They don't have the players on the outside. Their inability to be creative because the lack of skill some of these guys have. I mean, Cordell Patterson, when you start moving him to tailback and everything, it lets you know you're challenged as far as what you're trying to do. And if you look at Tom Brady's inability to be effective against the blitz, if you got an MCL, the inside part of your knee, you can't move in the pocket less than what he could move before, then you got it, man, let's blitz him. I'm not worried about somebody taking me downtown, making a big play outside. No, let's blitz him. Let's clog up the middle of the field where he likes to throw those deep seam routes and everything. But let's put some pressure on him because we know he can't move. Tom Brady is the most important player in this organization, and him being hampered would be impossible for New England to be able to overcome.
Before there was the report and speculation he could have an MCL injury, to your eye, watching him and watching how he struggled against the blitz, watching how immobile he's been in the pocket after that was, for years and years, one of his biggest strengths, mobility within the pocket. Did he look like a quarterback that might be dealing with some type of MCL injury?
I didn't see that. I can't draw that conclusion until they came out with this, that was the only time I really tried to see, okay, can I see something different in Tom? I hadn't noticed anything before that.
So can they make a Super Bowl to compromise Tom Brady? I would say unequivocally no. Because that has been their cure-all. Yes, they have home field, which helps seemingly every year. And yes, we know Belichick is going to make sure they are as buttoned up as any team in the league, more so. But there have been a lot of playoff games, not just Super Bowls, that they were in position to lose, and Tom Brady pulled them out of the fire. Tom Brady, how about the Jacksonville game last year? Gronk out of the game. Danny Amendola has huge moments. Why? Because Brady trusted him, and because Brady, how many times just in this last 5 years were there years that they either got to or won the Super Bowl that it took some special Tom Brady moments? Even the playoff games they've lost, the one to Denver where he drove him down the field, had him a 2-point conversion to tie the game late. But Brady has been, the break glass in case of emergency. He hasn't played at that level this year. Now, all-time greats, you always think maybe they've got one more moment in them. But it's looking more and more like the one moment was
last year,
500 yards in the Super Bowl.
Yep.
And that they just, Brandon Graham strip sacks him. He doesn't get the proper ending to that. But this Patriot team, right now, I feel like the only thing that scares you is the name. The defensive talent doesn't scare you. The offensive talent surely doesn't scare you. They've got a good running back.
Tight end doesn't scare you.
Right. They've got a good running back, but not